Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Like, Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Take control of the numbers and supercharge your small business with Xero. That's Xero. With our easy-to-use accounting software with automation and reporting features, you'll spend less time on manual tasks and more time understanding how your business is doing. 87% of surveyed U.S. customers agree Xero helps improve financial visibility. Search Xero with an X or visit Xero.com/Acast to start your 30-day free trial. Conditions apply.
This podcast is brought to you by drunkmummysobermummy.com and made in association with HelloSundayMorning.org, changing the world's relationship with alcohol, one Sunday at a time. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Heaps Normal, the Australian alcohol-free lager that is just too good to be wasted. Get your exclusive free shipping code later in the show.
Oh, the kettle's boiled.
Great. Perfect timing.
Should we get started then?
I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Lucy Good.
And this is Sober Awkward. Right, Lucy, over to you.
Thanks, Vic. So whatever stage you're at on your sober journey, and Vic and I are at completely different stages, you'll know that life without booze can at times feel, what do you reckon?
Awkward. Lucy and I invite you to listen to our podcast where we discuss the realities of sobriety, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the cringingly embarrassing. Our honest and open chats will help you discover what it really means to be sober.
Yes, we're here like a dodgy bottle of port from your nan's drink cabinet to take the edge off sobriety. And together we can learn how to feel the awkward and do it anyway. What does highly functioning drinking mean to you, Alan?
Carrying 3 pints of beer back from the bar without spilling it?
No. That's not quite the same thing, is it?
No, that isn't really what it means, is it?
Poor Alan.
We'll make him listen to this podcast so
yes,
he understands
we're going to force his headphones on his head so he has to listen to us droning on about alcohol yet again.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucy. Here we are again in the booth.
Yeah, lovely to be here.
Lovely to be here. And you had a birthday yesterday, didn't you?
I did. I had my birthday and I just wanted to say, love sober birthdays.
Yeah, nice. How was it?
It was really nice. I struggle with sober Christmases, but I love sober birthdays. That's what I've realised.
Yeah.
It's like you've got control over your birthday, haven't
yes,
you? And people
definitely.
respect what you are like and what you want. So I've decided Christmas would be okay if everybody else on the planet stopped drinking on that day as well.
Yeah, it's never going to happen, unfortunately for us.
But yeah, my birthday was really great. I had a normal day. I worked, I went to the gym.
Nice.
But when I had my morning coffee, my oldest daughter turned up with a little cake for me. So I had a cake with my coffee.
Lovely.
I had 2 cups of my favourite tea instead of 1.
Crazy days. Bangkok nights.
And then I went out with my girls for a lovely curry and then an ice cream and was in bed nice and early. My birthday's like my own personal New Year because I don't celebrate New Year because it's too boozy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I hope other people out there also enjoy their sober birthdays like I do.
Why are you 51?
Piss off.
Oh, sorry. Why are you 46?
No,
47.
in fact, you had to work out how old I was
Yeah,
the
we
other
did.
day
It took us
I
about an
didn't
hour
know.
to work it out.
I think we had the iPhone out and we were doing. We had the calculator on it to work out how old I actually am this year. I'm that old that I've lost count. I was 47 anyway,
Nice.
and yeah, happy with my sober birthday.
Yeah, well done, Lucy. Happy birthday.
And how are you, Vic? I know you've got a funny story to tell me.
Well,
I'm dying to hear it.
I wanted to save it because I actually couldn't sleep last night because I was crying with laughter in my bed. As you know, Lucy, I did an interview with one of the big news channels yesterday.
Yes, I saw that on the internet.
Okay, well, I don't know whether you read the whole thing, but I think nowadays when you do an interview for some of the big news channels, they have an automated system that records it and just uploads the content and I'm not sure that they actually proofread any of it, because
Really?
I think it's like a
Goodness.
dictaphone sort of thing that just prints the words.
Oh God, what happened?
Well, when I read through it last night, I was reading through it, I was like, oh God. First of all, obviously the message is that you don't have to reach rock bottom to deserve professional support. The headline was, Mum reaches rock bottom. Done. And I was like, that's not what I said. So they already turned that around and made my story into something dramatic, which of course is my point, is that it's not dramatic.
Yes.
Then I read on a little bit further and it said my drinking caused hangovers and hen anxiety. I was like, what do you mean? Like I was scared of chickens? I was like, what the bloody hell is hen anxiety?
Oh, that is so funny.
And then I read on, Lucy, and it was talking about, when I wanted to get, help for my drinking, it said, I reached out because I needed professional sport.
Don't.
I was like, oh yeah, I took up professional archery. It really helped with my binge drinking habit and tennis
You
and shot
desperately,
put.
desperately needed professional sport.
I know. I was literally crying in laughter in bed last night. It was the biggest load of gibberish.
Oh my god, that's the danger of those interviews.
It's so the
isn't
danger of it. Like
Yeah.
some more quality papers, they tell your story, and my story is about not having drama. It's not about professional sport or chickens. Like, come on.
It's not at all.
No.
But let me ask you, do you have a fear of hens?
No, I'm quite friendly with the hen population. They're my favourites, in fact. They got it completely wrong. Oh dear, I thought you'd find that funny.
Oh, I'm glad you found that amusing. You are very easygoing, Vic. A lot of people would read that and be like, "Oh, they've got my story wrong."
I didn't care.
There's nothing you can do about it, though.
No.
It's out there.
I didn't care. I just won't share it with anybody. Yeah.
Well, look, I think it will. I did look at it. I sort of skimmed through it. 'Cause
Yes.
I thought, I see if it's gone on. It was just before I was going to bed. I thought, oh, it's gone on. That's great. And when you skim through it, it looks absolutely fine.
Yeah,
You
okay,
look at the
good.
finer details, and it's just another bit of information out there telling people that it's okay not to drink. So it is
Yeah.
worthwhile.
But they also took photos from my Instagram page, which were ones that were supposed to be funny in context with my blog posts.
Yes.
And in one of them, the main picture, I just looked like a sort of scared zombie or something, like got dead eyes, and I'm doing a stupid face, which had context with the writing.
Oh, my
but when
goodness,
they've shared
yeah.
it with this dramatic story, it just looks like I'm brain dead or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll forget that ever happened. But yeah, I don't have a problem with hens, and I did not turn to professional sport to help with my binge drinking habit, just so you all know.
Just to clarify for the listeners.
And the other thing I just very quickly want to talk to you about, Lucy, before we get into this, is that my niece I spoke to this week, she's in her late 20s. She lives with her girlfriend in London. So they have a big party scene. She's doing damp January, which means she's only drinking at weekends, which is a big deal for her. So I want to do a big shout out to Eloise. And I love the way she called it damp January. So she's doing mindful drinking because of listening to the podcast. So hello, Eloise. I love you.
Yeah, hi Eloise. Good luck with it. Enjoy your damp January.
Yeah, and do alcohol-free February if you can. I mean, we always recommend carrying it on.
Yeah, if you can.
And the other thing I wanted to very quickly say, Lucy, is that I'm going to a party tomorrow night of a friend that I know that lives around the corner from me. And I had a wonderful experience because yesterday the host of the party phoned me through FaceTime, the FaceTime app, because she didn't actually even have my number. We're good mates, but we don't call each other a lot. I thought, what's she calling me for? She phoned me up to say, I just wanted to check in with you to say, look, there are going to be people drinking alcohol at the party. I have bought you alcohol-free drinks. I just wanted to let you know that that's what's going to be happening, and do you feel comfortable with it? And don't worry, there will be other people there not drinking. And she had literally just phoned me up to put me at ease about the party. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated that. It was such a lovely phone call. I said to her, no one has ever done that for me before. And I truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So it just shows, to have someone think about you in those situations, it makes me feel less nervous about the event. Of course, I'm fine being around people with, I've been a drinker all my life, so I know drinkers. It doesn't affect me at all. But to know that someone was conscious of how I would feel was really, really beautiful. So thank you, Carly, for that.
Yeah, she sounds lovely. I want to be her friend as well.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Well, that is really good because I know that I've actually turned down a lot of invites similar to the one that you're talking about, because I've been worried about the situation. And I wouldn't have turned them down if I'd had a phone call like that before, just to say there are going to be people there that aren't drinking, and I'm aware, and how kind of her to get you some alcohol-free drinks.
So lovely.
I remember when my friend James bought me my, he's a real bubbles man, loves his champagne or his sparkling wine. And I remember when I first got sober, I met up with him about 2 months in, and he brought along a bottle of sparkling non-alcoholic wine. And it was the first time anyone had done that. And it was
nice.
such a thoughtful, kind thing.
Yeah. It's only a small gesture, really, but we truly appreciate it, don't we?
Yeah. It's about being validated. It's okay. I really want you to come along. I don't want you to not turn up because you're going to feel uncomfortable. I've gone out of my way to make you feel comfortable in this situation. And also to know there's going to be other non-drinkers there is a really good thing.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today, Lucy? I think Alan gave us a bit of a hint there with his carrying his pints back from the bar without spilling them, didn't he? Classic.
Yeah, he doesn't really get the highly functioning thing.
No.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about being a highly functioning heavy drinker and why it's not only a tad deceiving, but it's pretty dangerous too. So look, basically, I consider myself a highly functioning drinker, stroke pisshead, stroke alcoholic, pick your choice of words.
Booze bag?
Yeah, definitely a booze bag. Whatever you want, Vic, throw it at me. I'll take them all.
Hen?
Yeah, hen, definitely. Yeah, happy hen.
Booze hen.
Hangover hen. For a long time, I was able to manage my life around my all-encompassing drinking habit and kind of pass myself off as a reasonably successful human being, kind of anyway. Yes, there was the odd casualty along the way for both Vic and I, a lost finger here, a lost job there, but nothing that we couldn't laugh off. And I would add it to my repertoire of drunken misdemeanours that made me, well, so entertaining and fun to be with. And it wasn't until a long time later, when things got so bad, that I finally admitted to myself that actually my life wasn't functioning properly and that maybe, just maybe, it was to do with my drinking.
That's right, Lucy. Until we decided on this topic of the dangers of highly functioning, I'd never really labelled myself as a highly functional drinker. I wore my fuck-uppery like a badge of honour. Being the world's best pisshead west of the M4 Heston motorway services was how I represented myself. And I didn't feel like I was hiding anything. I was cleverly socially destroying myself, which kind of made my drinking acceptable. But when I looked deeper into this topic, and actually called Lucy about it, I found out that perhaps my public form of self-destruction, and I could hide my drinking within my friendship circles or within my family and pretend that everything was hunky-dory. It wasn't until I stopped drinking and looked back that I saw with clarity that my behaviour was in fact that of a highly functional drinker. I mean, I'm alive, so that's a sign I got away with it.
Yes, you are. Alive and kicking and loving your professional sports.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does take sobriety to be able to see that the whole highly functioning thing is seriously fucked. And there are so many levels to it. Just like with the alcohol spectrum, and people use it as a way of not admitting that they've got an issue.
Yeah, being highly functioning does not mean you are successfully burning a candle at both ends. What it means is that you've become highly skilled at masking your drinking problem to yourself, your family, your friends, and the world in general. Just because you got your arse out of bed at 6 a.m. for a morning jog after 2 bottles of wine and 4 hours sleep doesn't necessarily mean you're winning. It could just mean you're getting better at ignoring the signs that you're drinking too much. The longer it goes on, the harder it is to make a U-turn.
Yeah, it really is. And in this episode, we'll talk about what highly functioning means and the kind of things we did, which we thought proved that we had our drinking under control. You might recognise many in your own behaviours. And we'll go into more detail about why being a highly functioning heavy drinker is more dangerous than adding a big slug of washing up liquid to the water on a slippery slide. It will make you go down faster and land with a bigger bump.
Yes, usually an embarrassing bump too.
With a big bruise on your bottom.
Yes. We'll also talk about what next if you're a highly functioning drinker? Because we recognise that it's a habit which is extremely hard to break. The very nature of highly functioning means it's woven into your world and plays a large part in how you get through each week, day, or even hour of your life. So how do you break the habit without everything falling apart? Stick with us while we explain.
Yeah, Vic, I just want to go back to the bit that you said when we just read out that introduction, which was about how it took, you didn't realise that you were highly functioning for many years. And actually, we had a phone call, didn't we?
Yeah.
And when you first phoned me up, you said, I don't think I was a highly functioning drinker. And then we sort of had a chat about it. And by the end of the phone call, you were like, oh, my God, I was.
Yeah, it's taken me until this week to understand highly functional drinking because it was so part of me. I didn't even know I was doing it. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah, because you were saying, well, I never really hid my drinking. I was always out there letting everybody know I was a big drinker. You know, I was almost proud of that.
Yeah.
And you didn't feel that you were really functioning. But then I sort of pointed out to you, didn't I, that, hey, didn't you travel the world and you had bars, you had businesses, you got up in the morning and did markets, you were getting planes everywhere. Like, you've got to be highly functioning to be able to do all of those things.
Yeah, and that's why it was clever. Like, we're just going to share now, like, our clever ways. We thought, you know, the clever ways we hid the fact that we were drinking so much, like with our friends and family. Owning bars, Lucy, was the perfect place to be a highly functioning drinker. I didn't realise that until our conversation. But of course, you know, me being behind the bar almost gave me a sort of superpower because it made me look like I was the one in control because I was the one serving the drinks. But of course, I was drinking just as much as anybody in there. I'll tell you very briefly, my bar history is I had a bar in Thailand. I had a Rasta boyfriend and lived on this beautiful island, and we found a washed up squid boat, which we turned into a beach bar. And,
God,
it was like a reggae
paradise.
bar. It was absolute paradise. It got washed away in the tsunami, that bar, unfortunately.
That's incredibly sad.
When I did the bar work, I loved it, but also everyone was always more drunk than me because they were coming and going. They were nomads that were coming there for a night, getting as pissed as they could and leaving. So I always kind of kept my cool a bit. I joined in the party, but I always had to pack up the bar at the end of the night, fill up the icebox, do all those jobs. And I always managed to do those because it looked like then I wasn't as bad as everybody else that was coming in. It was my cover, and I was doing that every night. And if there weren't people in the bar, then that was the night that I really got stuck in because I guess I didn't have anyone to point me out and say, look, you've got a drink problem. But I didn't realise, until this week that actually I was using my environments that I was in to hide the fact that I was a highly functioning alcoholic.
Yes, I'm working and I'm drinking, but because I'm working, it's okay to be drinking as much as I am.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to point that out because I think it's important for our listeners to know with this podcast, we're not here all righteous telling people, look, we're sober and we've got all the answers and we're going to share them with you. This podcast is really just our thoughts as they come to us and our conversations. The difference is with us is we've decided to record some of them. We are coming to revelations about our own drinking, all the time.
Recording, yeah.
Yeah. And when we talk about these topics and we prepare for them, we learn more about ourselves. So we're on the journey with our listeners, learning about ourselves and recognising patterns and problems and reasons. And all those things help you to stay sober, and they're helping us as well as people who listen.
Yeah. And the fact was, Lucy, throughout my travelling days, like we talked about, like understanding now that we're having this conversation, I kept my head just above water, just enough. I booked the next plane ticket out of there. I turned up for flights. I held down jobs when I needed to. I didn't always hold down jobs because I was hungover and pulled loads of sickies and got fired. I mean, that stuff did happen as well. But I managed to keep my nose just above the water level, enough for no one to notice. And that is pretty much that is highly functional drinking,
highly
isn't
functioning, yeah.
I used to work as an estate agent in London for a bit. And I used to go in, with terrible hangovers and be running backwards and forwards to the toilet. But I would still go and do viewings and like kind of be burping under my breath or like retching in a drain outside and then carrying on.
And we laugh, but I recognise that in my own behaviour.
Yeah, and then I used to get in my car. I had a company car. I was only like 22 or something. I used to put the seat down and hide and have sleeps and
have pretend
put a few fake viewings in the calendar.
Yeah, they were in the days, weren't they, where you actually could sleep with a hangover instead of having massive anxiety not being able to sleep when you're older.
Yeah, so basically I was highly functional enough, which meant I just about had enough money, just about survived. It wasn't until my kids were born and my wild weekends kicked in because I couldn't drink during the week that I had a consequence to my drinking, and that's when my highly functioning really kicked in. And I recognise that now after our conversations, Lucy, that when I became a mum, I was a highly functional drinker, but now I realise also in my past I have had that behaviour. Yeah. Today, we're proudly introducing Heaps Normal to our sober, awkward family.
Yeah, Heaps Normal was co-founded by 4 mates, each with their own reasons for wanting to reduce their alcohol consumption, which immediately makes me want to hear their stories, Vic, and find out why they've decided to do that.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. They're now a dedicated non-alcoholic beer company who are brewing beer without the hangover, so you can create your own epic new normal. Their story is based on the simple belief that some things in life are just too good to be wasted.
Yep, and as you lot know, Vic and I are partial to an alcohol-free beer when we're out and about socialising.
Yes, when I can drag you away from your knitting, Lucy.
Yeah, that's true. I do like my knitting.
Yeah, and anyone, when they recommend an alcohol-free beer on our socials, Heaps Normal is always top of the list.
Yeah, that's right. And we're actually drinking their lagers at the moment, aren't we? We're giving them a go. And what we've got here is their new product, which is very cleverly named Another Lager.
Yeah, and for the past 6 months, they've been working hard to make something special. A classic Aussie lager fit for the pub, pitch, picnic or party, just without the downsides.
Yeah, and that's what we love, Vic, don't we? Beer without blackouts.
Yeah, and it tastes really yummy. We're enjoying it, aren't we, Luce?
Yeah, I really like it because it's not like that artsy, crafty beer. I never did like those anyway, with all those sort of bizarre tastes in them. This is just like, it actually tastes like a normal, down-to-earth, proper lager.
Yeah. It's a great alternative, actually, for those being mindful about drinking or people treading the sober path. At Heaps, they believe that by creating great-tasting alcohol-free beer options, as a society, we will organically reduce the role alcohol has in our lives and share better stories.
Yeah, ones that don't involve us regurgitating kebabs into wheelie bins at 3 a.m.
Yes, and I have done that a few times. In celebration of them releasing this brilliant new Another Lager, Heaps are offering all our listeners in Australia free postage and all their amazing products. Go to heapsnormal.com and enter the promo code SOBERAWKWARD when checking out. This offer is only available in Australia.
Yeah, definitely do it. And I can see now why people always recommend Heaps Normal and why it's always at the top of the list on the group.
Yeah, and I like their story too.
Yeah.
Heaps Normal, a normal lager for heaps normal people.
And it's interesting because for me, when I look at, our behaviour that we thought was clever at the time, it was actually highly functioning. I'm the same as you. You sort of pinpointed that time in Thailand where you were at the bar and you were working. So you were able to carry on drinking because you were also functioning so that was in your past life. And now as a mum, it really comes to you. And I'm similar as well, because when I look back at my drinking career, of 25 years, I was highly functioning the whole time. But there's 2 things that really stand out for me. And the first one is, like, in my late teens, early 20s, I had a really good corporate job in central London working in sales and marketing at hotels. And I used to commute into London and then I'd get the tube. I had to wear a skirt suit, would you believe?
Oh, God, that is old school, man.
I know. I had to wear a skirt suit and tights, heels. That was what I had to wear to work. You never get away with that now.
No.
I think I even had a briefcase, Vic, from memory.
Weird.
I had a season pass, so people
Did you have your cocaine in the little holes?
Of course. I had a season pass, which, when you had one of those going into London, everyone knew you were a commuter, and I was part of that world. So I'd get up in the morning, I'd dress the part, I'd get on the train with everyone else. I'm a functioning human being. How can I possibly be anything else when I'm doing this so young in my life? Coming home in the evenings after a day at work or a night at work, because I used to do events, was a completely different story. You know, I might get on the train, the last train back. I might be being sick in the toilets. I'd fall asleep on the train and my poor dad would have to come out at midnight or 1 a.m. to pick me up from Milton Keynes. You know, Milton Keynes, end of the line.
With the concrete cows.
Yeah, the English listeners will know what I mean. Yeah, there were times, I mean, I remember once getting on one of the trains coming back with some friends and we were really, really drunk. Thankfully, there was, I don't think that, please, I hope there was no one else in the carriage. But we couldn't get into the toilet. I needed a wee, so I weed in a milkshake bottle. This is in my skirt suit and heels.
Did you put the lid back on and the straw back in?
I can't remember. I'm so ashamed.
Oh,
I have tried to
didn't...
block it out for many years. I just thought I'd share it here. A little bit of, sort of
nice
getting
yellow
it all out.
milkshake.
Yeah.
Not banana. Flavour.
It was a banana milkshake bottle. Funnily you should say that. Anyway, there was once a time when I fell asleep. The train pulled into my station and I woke up a little bit too late, you know, when you realise the train's been at the station for about 30 seconds and I was right at the other end of the carriage to the doors. So I got up, started running along the carriage. It was the last train of the night, so half the people were pissed on it. And everyone started cheering and clapping. And I got to the doors. This is me in my skirt suit, heels, everything. Did look the part at one point in the day. Went to jump out of the doors and they closed on me and trapped me so that I had a door on either shoulder.
Like a sandwich.
And I was just stuck in it. And the doors were going beep, 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 because there was an obstruction. I must have been stuck there for what felt like 2 years, but it was actually probably about 2 seconds. And then the doors suddenly opened and I fell forward on my face on the platform, by which point, and then the doors close and the train rolls out of the station. Everyone's at the windows cheering, laughing. You know, so this young woman who had got up early in the morning and
looking extremely highly functional.
At the end of the night, that is how I would end up, you know, spread eagle on the Kings Langley platform, being laughed at by everyone on the train. Another thing I used to do is I started going out with a guy who worked in one of the bars in the hotel and he had a Fireblade motorbike and he used to give me a lift home along the M25. I was so pissed that I'd nod off on the back. We'd be going over 100 miles an hour along the M25. Once I actually... So I've got my skirt hitched up, you know, I'm on the back of the bike, no protective gear. I actually fell asleep and woke myself up by my helmet nodding forward like a nodding dog and hitting the back of his, and it woke me up.
Oh, that's so dangerous, Lucy. I can't believe you survived that.
Yeah. But Vic, the thing is, I was getting up. Then what would happen is I'd go home, go to sleep, get up, put the power gear on, go to work, you know, join in with the other commuters. And so I was hiding the fact, you know, it was like, if I can get up and do this all again, then I'm okay. I don't have a problem with I can erase all that behaviour of the evening because I'm up and I'm on it again.
It sort of changes the normalisation of alcohol in society to you normalising it to yourself.
Yes.
It's like, actually, this is all right. Look, I can go out and fall off a motorbike and fall asleep and be completely mental, but I'm getting up for work the next day.
Exactly right.
I'm doing well in this world. I'm functioning. My boss thinks I'm brilliant. It's okay if I, you know, puke into a wheelie bin the next day.
You think you've got this balance, don't you?
Yeah.
And then for me as well, so that was the one thing that I'd really pinpoint with my highly functional. My next one was obviously when I became a mum, exactly like you, Vic. I grew up without a mum, so I didn't know what a mum was meant to be like, really. I wasn't sure. I didn't have a role model, so I aimed for perfection.
Okay.
That was my mistake. And I tried to be the perfect mum, which is impossible. In fact, that made me drink more. When I've spoken to my girls since I've given up and we've spoken about my sobriety and, you know, we were having a conversation about some other parents drinking, and one of my girls said to me, the thing is with you, Mum, you were drinking a lot, but you'd always get up in the morning and make a gourmet breakfast.
Yeah, so they'd made it all right in their heads as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is spot on highly functioning. I drink myself into oblivion, but I get up and I make breakfast for my kids. And so it's all okay. So I was living what I would call a double life between perfect mum, raging pisshead, perfect mum, raging pisshead.
But that's interesting as well, because that's that party girl transition into mum. Like, we don't know that we're supposed to change so hugely when we become mum. So, of course, we lean on the only thing we've ever done, which is drinking.
Yes.
And we know, that isn't looked at a lot. It's like, actually, there is a place where we should learn about becoming a mum, saying, actually, binge drinking and escaping from alcohol when you become a mother isn't a great idea. But no one really says that. They just go, oh, go on, you deserve it.
Yes, exactly.
So no wonder you did that, and no wonder I did that, because, it's been drilled into us since the day we were born that when you're stressed or,
have a drink.
Yeah. And then so we're highly functioning, even if it is a binge at the weekends or every day, whatever, we are trying to function as parents, but because we don't know another way.
And there's so much pressure on us to be these perfect mums and to keep up with all the other mums. I mean, I was always so proud, and I suppose I am still now, that my kids never had a jar of baby food because I made it all from scratch. But in order to do that, I'd be staying up until midnight, cooking vegetables, pureeing them, putting them into the little ice cube trays, putting them in the freezer. If you opened my freezer, it was an array of little cubes, different coloured cubes. It's like a rainbow. I'd made all their food. There was always beautiful homemade food in there for them. And I'd open it and look at it and think, I'm doing okay.
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
I'm amazing mum. I've done all of this. But in order to do it, I had to stay up till midnight drinking.
Yeah. And also you just go, wow, I'm really succeeding here.
Yeah.
Like, look at me, look at this perfect food in the fridge, and I'm doing the perfect sleep times, and I'm following all the rules, and I've been breastfeeding, and I've done this and I've done that. For me, all of that stuff was fucking boring. Yeah. I have to admit, Lucy, no wonder I needed to go out and get pissed and be a highly functioning drinker, because that was not my world, and I was just shoved into it. I mean, of course I wanted children. You want children, but I don't think you realise that some of the stuff you're going to end up doing is really mundane.
Yeah, very monotonous.
And it does your head in. So I had to be a highly functional drinker, because I'd probably have left the kids by now otherwise. But
well, that's what we think, don't we? Of course we wouldn't. We would have been even better mums if we hadn't have drunk. But I think highly functioning is something that definitely comes into play earlier on in our life, earlier than we recognise.
Yep.
And it took us both being sober, and Vic being sober for 4 years, to realise that she was highly functioning. But when you become a parent, and we've spoken to 2 guys on this podcast, and both of them have actually just said, without us asking, that their drinking got worse when they became parents. So that is a really common thing, and that is where the highly functioning comes in, because we can lie to ourselves that we've got this, but actually we didn't have it at all.
No. So were there any defining moments when we realised our charade was up? For me, Lucy, it was that not taking care of my kids on a Sunday morning. I mean, I was that great mum during the week, with the perfect cotton wraps floating over the 3-wheeler pram, the perfect snacks, paleo snacks wrapped in recyclable plastics and all of these things, and bouncing down the seafront with my ponytail and my, a bit of a wanker, basically.
Yeah, that does sound a bit wankerish.
I tried to fit in and be that person, but I wasn't. And then I was drinking, and then I had to deal with my anxiety, of course, on Sundays. So being a good mum during the week, it really wasn't good enough for me to follow that through at the weekends, and I needed to escape, which was where the highly functioning kicked in. The main thing my main defining moment for me was that my husband's face changed. For me then...
What, did he become something completely different, like a clown?
No.
Did he turn into a clown face?
No.
Well, you said his face changed.
His face didn't change like from one person to another. He ripped off a mask and revealed
how much had you had to drink?
No, my husband's a very happy, smiley guy.
He is. He's lovely.
And what I realised was on Sunday mornings, he would come in and see me and say, "Are you all right?" after I'd been out on like a mother's group night out. And I could see he looked sad. And I'd never seen him look sad before. And his face had changed from being this joyous, looking at me with love, to looking at me with worry. And that was when I realised the charade was up, because my husband's face looked sad for me. And he saw the fact that I was pretending to highly function and was actually falling apart, which means he actually was left with all the jobs to do on Sundays. He was doing the bottles, the bum wipes, the visits to the park, because I was lying in bed, not able to move my head. And I say I was highly functioning on the outside, but, after those big nights out where I was the life and soul being all fun, I was crippled with anxiety the next day. So I was not highly functioning afterwards. And that's obviously what led to me to get help. So, people changing around me made me understand that my drinking was not highly functioning anymore. And that did lead me to seek professional sport.
Professional sport, yes.
I decided to take up shot put.
Professionally,
straight away.
That's an interesting story about your husband, because when you tell me that, and you've told me that before, his worry for you, and I think, that really must have been that, as you say, was a turning point for you. Whereas you've got people in these relationships where the partner who isn't drinking sort of has a go at the partner who's drinking, or like is upset because they have to do all of the work and is angry and resentful. And there was none of that for you. He was just genuinely worried. And that was the most powerful thing, I'm sure.
Absolutely. His silence almost was more powerful than him having a go at me or saying, you've got to stop this. He never once said, you need to stop drinking, even though I probably knew deep down that's what I had to do. But he never judged me. He just held my hand when I was having a panic attack. And he never told me or demanded that I should be something else. He just went with it.
So thank God for John.
Yeah,
that's
thank
all
God
I
for
can
John.
say.
Awesome, John.
Yeah.
Well done.
Shout out to John.
But interesting, though, you're right there. The silence and the changing of his expression looking at me, I knew that I was letting him down, and that changed a lot.
That was way more powerful than someone having a go at you and saying, you've got to give up.
Because you're automatically defensive in that situation. You're like, no, I haven't got a problem. No, I'm not doing this. If someone's shouting at you, you are obviously going to put your hand up and say, that's not right. But in this situation, it was very different. It was just the look in his eyes, really.
Yes.
And I didn't want to hurt him or my child at that point. And I knew I had to do something about it.
That was a turning point. And we've talked about that before in another podcast about sort of the people in your world when you're drinking. If you're living with your partner and you choose to give up and they don't want to, you can't tell somebody to give up. It's got to be their choice and their time to do it. Yeah. So my defining moments when I realised the charade was up for me was... Well, there were some a long time ago when my kids were young.
It was professional sport.
No, I put netball down because, yes, times when I should have noticed were I was at I can remember being at a sing-along at the local church hall when my kids were very young. So years and years and years ago. And I'd taken many things I shouldn't have taken the night before and also drunk copious amounts. And I had I thought I was going to pass out. When you suddenly feel all the blood dripping down you and you've got what you think, I'm going to throw up, and the room was spinning and I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor singing, row, row, row the boat. And I very nearly passed out or just threw up. I didn't. I was okay. But God, it was a terrifying moment. And all the other mums are sitting there functioning. And I thought I was. When the kids were a little bit older, we'd go to netball. A couple of times I had to be sick in the toilets. Other mums were doing it as well.
Right.
So those were times when the game should have been up for me, but I just carried on going for years later. Defining moment was when I started to care less about what other people thought about me.
Dangerous.
That was a dangerous thing, yeah. I think that's an age thing as well. As we get older, we care less. You're like, I'm a drinker, I don't give a shit if anyone knows that. So that was something for me. And another real time when I realised that the game was up was when my kids were old enough to see that the perfect packed lunch didn't mean that all was well in the world.
Yes.
And that their mum was actually depressed and drinking too much.
Yeah.
Because when they were younger, it was the little things. You could easily just do these little things on the outside and the kids thought their world was okay. My eldest daughter is 18 now. When she was about 16, she had what I'll call some big world problems. Her boyfriend and her best friend went off together, and she had some other problems on top of that, and they couldn't be solved by a highly functioning lie of a mum, which is what I was. I had to drop the act and drop the drink, and I had to be a true version of myself to help her human to human.
We talked about that lie a little bit as well. Like we were laughing about it the other day because me and Lucy did actually decide that our lives were a lie. It was quite depressing when we chatted about it. We were like, yeah, basically we've been living a lie for 25 years. Well, that's not great,
Yeah,
is
that's
it?
what kind of highly functioning it is.
Yeah.
Well, you talk yourself into being something that you're not.
Yeah.
And you put on the performance.
Yep.
You put a performance on. My daughter said to me after she got through all her problems, and she's really great now, she's really come through it. We were having a chat and she said, Mum, I needed you sober.
Oh, that's so lovely.
So, yeah, that was when I knew that I had to stop the highly functioning and be an honest version of myself. And another time when the charade was up for me was when my depression became unmanageable and I admitted to myself that I didn't want to be on this earth. And that was a time when I had to assess the way I was living and whether this lie that I was living could continue or whether I was going to have to drop the act and be a true version of myself, even though I hated that person of myself, who I was at that time. That was when I had to make some changes.
I think sobriety is a lot about facing the truth, the nitty gritty,
Yes, it is.
getting down to it and saying, right, lay everything down on a table, like a pack of cards, I've said it before, and take out the bits that you want and take out the bits that you don't and separate the piles. You know, you could even write them down, couldn't you, on little cards and say, look, this is what I like about myself. This is what I don't. This is what I'm going to keep and this is what I'm going to take away. Because you have to face the truth about alcohol when you're giving up and say, look, this is what it's doing to me. It was making you depressed and now you don't take your antidepressants at all anymore.
No.
That's the difference.
Yep.
That's the massive changes. So if you are highly functioning, it is a good idea to say to yourself, look in the mirror and say, what do I like about myself and what do I not like? And face those truths and be honest with yourself. If there's no one there to, then do it yourself.
Yeah, we've talked about that blank canvas before. When you give up, you feel like there's nothing left of who you are because everything about you is involved in drinking. You've got no hobbies anymore. When I was driving down here, Vic, I was thinking, you know what it's like getting sober? It's a bit like when you put your phone or your computer back to the factory setting. You take everything away, you turn it back on and you rebuild it as a new version.
Exactly.
That's what it's a bit like, isn't it?
It's funny you say that. I have those feelings sometimes. Like I went swimming in the ocean. I do my exercise class in the morning and I always go for a swim in the ocean afterwards. And there was massive waves the other day. And the coach, Scott, said, right, we're going to go out the back beyond the big waves. And I was really nervous because obviously I'm English. I've got terrible great white shark fear. But I did it and the waves were crashing over me and it reminded me of being sober because some days you feel like the waves are crashing over you and you're tumbling around underneath the white water. But that day I stepped out of my comfort zone and I put my shoulder up, you know, when you kind of bash through the waves. And when you're feeling those cravings and things, it reminded me of that. Sometimes you've got to stand strong and you've got to let the wave come and you've got to lean into it to get through it.
Going,
and you've got to keep going. It's funny how these analogies come up. I was just lying in the ocean thinking about that and I went beyond the waves and I shat myself, quite honestly. I was scared.
I really?
Yeah, well, not literally. A little bit of wee did come out though. No one noticed.
No one
It was
would
just
have
a bit
known. If
warmer.
you hadn't have just said it on this podcast, you would have got away with it, Vic.
Oh, God. Why?
But you got through to the other side, to the calm.
I got to the calm and I floated around and it was lovely and, you know, I was happy to get back on land, but I fought through and it can be sometimes about recognising your behaviours and understanding them and fighting through.
Yeah, and feeling the feels, which are those waves, and knowing that in sobriety there is always going to be a calm on the other side as well, which there is with the sea once you've got through the waves.
But unfortunately, perhaps in Australia with a few little nippy sharks.
Maybe the blue bottle or something like
like
that.
the crocodile or something or other.
You never know, do
never
you,
know.
over here?
No.
So let's talk about why life as a functional drinker is just so dangerous. For me, I started and I ran a successful business. I travelled the world with my kids whilst I was doing it. I owned a home. You know, all the signs said you're okay. So how could I have seen that I had a problem? Well, I mean, I should have seen because I was waking up with horrific hangovers.
Yeah.
I was depressed, full of guilt. But what I was choosing to focus on was those more material things, such as the fact that I'd managed to start a business and that I owned a home. I think another time when it becomes dangerous is when you're doing your highly functioning sort of act for the benefit of those around you.
Yeah.
And you realise that it's all just getting too hard. For me, I found that I was able to highly functional drink. So I haven't really got that phrase right, highly functional drink. I was a highly functional drinker for 20 years of my life. And then after a bit, it just became so difficult because I was drinking so much because I needed to drink more in order to feel normal, really.
Yeah.
And because it was so hard and I couldn't keep up the act for those around me, I just closed the door on my world to ignore the problem for another few years. And that was when I became an introvert, because I thought if I hide away from the world, I turned down all the invites to go out. Instead of going out and getting blotto and making a tit of myself with my friends, I'm just going to hide inside and carry on drinking, and people will just presume that I'm still functioning, even though I actually wasn't. A hangover for me was a full day on the couch, and I mean it. I could not get up off the couch.
Same. It's interesting how you talk about that like there was a massive change there, like you changed that drinking, but actually that's the insidiousness, if that's a word, of alcohol, of how subtly you made that change. And that's what's scary within that, is that you made that change and probably nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed, and I didn't even think about it. It wasn't like I thought to myself one day, right, that's it. I'm not managing this highly functioning thing anymore. I'm not managing to hide my problem. So from now on, I'm not going to go out. It just was the way it happened. It was a progression to that. And then once you're drinking behind closed doors on your own, you've pretty much had it.
But it's inconspicuous.
It is.
And it creeps down that road and it's so slow that no one even says, oh, you're right, Lucy, I haven't seen you out for a while. Or, you know, why haven't you been down the pub recently? It's just they don't realise that it's carried on and you're at home.
It's happened so gradually that I went from somebody who was always out and accepted every invite to somebody who never went out and they didn't even bother inviting me anymore. But it was such a slow change that not even my closest friends, I guess they did recognise it, but they were probably like, well, it's not really our place. It's what she wants to do. She's chosen to stay in. But what I was doing was just carrying on drinking.
Gosh.
It was dangerous because you become dependent on drink. It's an integral part of the performance, and it can lead to a dependence, certainly on alcohol, of course. But for me, in order to carry on, I started having to take sleeping tablets, Valium and things like that, because I'd drink so much and then I'd get 2 hours sleep, wake up with a racing heart, and then I couldn't get back to sleep again. But I had to get up in the morning with the kids and to do work, so I had to start taking sleeping tablets. And then there was painkillers, like I was taking Nurofen every single day because I had a hangover and I just felt awful. So you've got this
slippery slope.
Yeah, in order to keep it up, you realise that you're starting to take more and more things, more alcohol than before, and other drugs as well, just to keep going, whether they're legal or illegal.
Well, the problem is right there. It's because it's difficult to diagnose yourself with something you don't want to be.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So how are you going to? When you're in that state, you're on pills, you're on alcohol, your mind's probably a bit, all over the place.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to diagnose yourself as having a problem because you're not capable of it.
No,
so that makes
not.
it even harder.
Well, you don't have the time or the headspace or anything to be able to do that because you're so busy trying to get up and carry on as normal.
Yeah.
Get through the day, thinking about drinking, what you're going to drink, when you're going to drink, and then nursing that hangover the following day. You don't have time to sit back and say, what is wrong with me? How can I diagnose myself? What is my problem?
Because your brain is so numbed out. When I was living in Thailand, I got a bit of panic attacks again. When I was living in Bangkok, I was doing a teacher training course there. I was teaching TEFL, part one chapter of my life, Lucy. One of the many.
You see, you've done so many things.
I know. I was sleeping around a lot then. It was just like this free-for-all. I'd lost loads of weight and I just felt amazing. And I just kind of went a bit out of control. Because I was having to get up and go to study every morning, but I was still leading the Bangkok nightlife, which is amazing. So every night I'd go out and I'd get totally wasted, meet some crazy guy and end up back at my shack on the Chao Phraya River.
Classy.
Yeah, but it was brilliant. I was loving it. But I would always manage to get to work the next day. Apart from one day, Lucy, the panic started and I went and bought some Xanax. Somebody had told me, if you're having panic, take these. Slippery slope right there, Lucy.
They are terrible.
I fell asleep for 28 hours. I didn't wake up. I missed the whole day of school that I was supposed to be teaching in.
28
And I
hours.
turned up the next day and they told me a day had passed.
And you didn't realise?
And I didn't even know.
Yes.
I mean, that is one of my
Wow.
most frightening tales where I think, gosh, I could have just slipped into unconsciousness
You
then
missed 24
and died.
hours.
I missed 24 hours. I'd woken up. I'd taken a Xanax and I'd been drinking. I'd been out with some guy. I was with him. We were in the same bed. It was one of those stories you read about in the paper that you find a couple dead in a hotel and there's the paraphernalia around them. That could have been me. So that just shows that I was pretending to function and I was going to school and teaching kids and being this amazing TEFL teacher, but I was actually getting wasted and sleeping around and taking Xanax.
And missing entire days.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to
I
say,
made some stupid excuse.
28 hours of sleep sounds absolutely amazing to me right now.
Don't do
That's
it.
my idea of heaven.
Yeah,
But
it's not when your heart's just about to
Yeah.
slow down and stop.
I mean, yeah, Xanax are incredibly dangerous.
So dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminded me of that then. It's like, gosh,
very
actually,
addictive.
how highly functioning is that?
Yeah, yes, exactly. And yet you didn't realise
No.
until a few days ago.
I didn't realise
Yeah.
till right now.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. So alcoholism is progressive. So if it does go unchecked, you keep going on those, runs every morning to make yourself feel better, you might find that the track gets tricky and it will be harder to quit. That's the problem with this highly functioning, isn't it, Lucy, what we're talking about?
Yes.
Is that the longer it goes on, the harder it will be to stop.
Yeah.
So that's why we found it so hard to recognise. And in the end, all you have is a pair of mucky trainers and that race might end in a rehab facility.
Exactly right. And that's why this podcast is just so important for people, because we didn't recognise we were highly functioning until we became sober. So we're really hoping here that we can reach out to some people who are still drinking and make you recognise whilst you're drinking that what you're doing is highly functioning, and it doesn't mean that you're succeeding in life. It could actually be making your alcohol intake worse.
Yeah.
So if we can just get through to even one person today who can recognise that in themselves before they get sober and stop sooner, then I would feel our job is done here, Vic.
Yes, our job is done.
Our work is done.
Here are just a few red flags for the listeners to suggest that their highly functioning lifestyle is not serving them.
Yes. We thought we'd just mention a few of these because people might think, yeah, that's me. That's what I do.
Think about when and why you are drinking. If it's to get you through the evening and all the chores you must do, or if you are using alcohol as a tool to perform any of your humanly duties, it's probably wrong.
Yes, it very possibly is. Yeah, that's a really good thing to think about. Also, are you an honest and open drinker, or do you hide your drinking? Do you lie that you don't have a hangover? I mean, I used to do that all the time.
yeah.
I thought that would cancel out everything if I lied about my hangover, and everyone knew I looked like shit. Or do you act in a way to prove to people around you that you have your drinking under control? So basically, are you putting on an act in any area of your drinking? Because if you are, it's likely you're highly functioning and you need to have a think about it.
Do you put more importance on how people see you, and we include children in this, than you do about your own health and how you feel on the inside?
Yeah, I mean, that's a highly functioning as a mum thing. It was really important how my kids saw me. I really wanted them to feel that they had this amazing mum. I wanted them to feel safe and protected and cared for.
Yeah.
And, ultimately that became more important than my own health, which was counterproductive in being a good mum and helping my kids.
Yeah.
Another one is, do you feel that alcohol has a significant purpose in living a successful life? Like, for example, I started an online business that required hours and hours of work every day. I stayed up really late to work after the kids had gone to bed. And I used to think, I can't stay up this late without wine to help me do it. I believed that the only way I could do it was by drinking. In fact, if I hadn't drunk, I would have got a lot more done and I would have been successful a lot sooner.
You just don't know it at the time.
You have
do
no
you?
idea
It's
at the
just
time.
the fog.
And
you have to wait till the fog
That's what we're trying
lifts.
to say now
Yeah.
to people is, have a think about these things that we're saying now.
Yeah.
Because hopefully we can make you recognise it sooner than us two slow coaches did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was a highly
Oh,
functioning
yeah. Do you feel like doing exercise, being a great parent, going to work despite having a hangover, eating healthy or having perfect relationships and generally having a successful life is an excuse to get blotto? There you are. That sums it up.
Well, it does. It's about, you think you've got the balance. You think if you can get up and go to that corporate job in London in the skirt suit and clopping along the platform and getting to work on time, that cancels out. And the mess that you are on the way home, that is not balance. But at the time, we were fooling ourselves to think that it was a good balanced life.
You make it into an excuse for dysfunction. So you use the function as like a weighing scale. You're like, oh, I've got this much function, so therefore I'm allowed this much dysfunction.
Yes, that's right.
And it's like it balances out. But actually, why can't we just have the function?
Yes,
and
exactly.
ditch the dysfunction?
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Dysfunction. None of us should really have dysfunction.
No.
I mean, I think we all do as
My
humans.
bowel is a little bit dysfunctional.
Did poo in the sea the other day. Yeah, which beach was that at? Yeah, look, we've got some tips here to help you slow or stop drinking if you're a highly functioning heavy drinker. So if anything that we've been talking about has made you stop and think, but you're not quite sure where to move forward, you might be like, I am a highly functioning drinker, but now what? How do I get out of this? 'Cause it's extremely difficult. So the first one is to drop the denial and accept that your behaviour is not healthy. So something has to change, and get help with that change if you need to. So just remember, you might be in denial. So hard to see that. But if you can raise your head above the water just for a moment and accept that what you're doing isn't right, even if it's just for a second, get help, book the GP appointment, do something, but get the ball rolling.
Train to be a javelin thrower
or a shot put.
Yeah, or archery, whatever professional sport you decide on.
That's really helpful advice. Thank you.
Swap to zero alcohol, like heaps, of course, a few nights a week, and compare how you feel in a diary. Weigh up the positive and negative effects of drinking, which is what I said earlier. Weigh it up. It really is. Is it really benefiting you in some way?
Yeah, and that's a good point. Understanding however you feel, if you feel that alcohol is helping you function, you will honestly function way better without it. And that takes me back to thinking I had to drink to do the late nights to start my business. Now, if I hadn't have drunk, what could have happened? I could be a millionaire now, Vic.
Yeah, you could be.
It would have been
borrow a bit of money off
It
you.
certainly would have been easier.
Yeah.
I honestly thought I needed drink to function. An idea is to do a 100-day challenge to prove this to yourself, that you can do it, and you'll see that life is easier without alcohol.
Yep, so true. Know that highly functioning is not sustainable. You will crash and burn. Will you stop on your own terms now, or wait until the choice is no longer yours and the consequences are a lot worse and sometimes fatal? Reach out now.
Yeah, do it on your own terms. I like that one, Vic, rather than somebody saying, a close friend saying, right, putting you in the car and taking you to rehab. Not a good look.
Yeah, or a sad husband face.
Yeah, sad husband face. Yeah, bless. Change your nighttime routine. Find different social alternatives. It doesn't have to be based on a dodgy drinking establishment.
Yeah. Ask a friend how they feel about their relationship with alcohol. You might be surprised to find that ones that look like they love it are highly functioning, and actually are the ones that are also desperate to stop.
Yeah, and that takes us back to another episode where we talked about people who aid our drinking, our enablers.
Yeah.
You'll probably find that your friends and your family who also drink heavily, they're also highly functioning as well.
Yeah.
So it was the case for me. We were all in it together. All in it together, living a lie.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Great. Yeah, we got some tips, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Shall I start?
Go for it.
Okay. So we're not here to judge, we promise. We admit we were highly functioning heavy drinkers for most of our lives, but we'll also admit that being able to drink copious amounts of alcohol and then bounce out of bed at the crack of dawn and be all crazy happy was not a skill that we should have been proud of. It was, in fact, our downfall. Could it be yours?
Don't be too hard on yourself. We live in a crazy, unprecedented times, which are stressful for everybody. If you have used alcohol as a tool to get through, you are not alone, and it is not something to be ashamed of. Lucy and I became high-functioning pissheads in the 80s, a time of peace and plenty. What's our excuse? Please don't put yourself through the stress of pretending you're coping with your drinking if you're not. Talk to a friend, family member, or your GP, or your local coach at your sports centre. No, don't do that.
Yeah. Oh, you never know.
You never know.
Be helpful.
Yeah, actually, professional sport would probably help.
He might...
Might do, mightn't
the
it?
local coach might be a highly functioning drinker. I mean, a lot of people are, aren't they? Let's face it. Have a think about the red flags Vic and I have shared. Being a highly functioning drinker is so dangerous, as it could mask that you have a problem with drinking, even to yourself, and that's the key, isn't it? We're masking it. We're pretending to ourselves as well as everybody around us.
Yeah.
What's the point in being hugely successful at work, as a parent or in any other area, if you're drinking yourself to death on the sidelines? You can be even more successful without booze. We promise.
I like all these promises we make, Lucy.
do.
Maybe I hope somebody never comes back and say, you promised me. You do.
But I mean, is that too much to promise that life is better without booze?
No, that is not too much to promise.
It's not, is it?
I pinky promise that, Lucy.
Okay. I'll stand with you.
Okay, good. Know that although you think you're putting on an Oscar-winning performance, it is likely you are not fooling those close to you, and that in turn could be causing them stress and worry, even young kids. Is that really how you want your loved ones to feel about you? Or will you let them in, fess up, and work through your booze issues openly?
Yeah, we shouldn't be lying to our loved ones, should we?
No.
Should we?
Even about the lint balls that I stole out of the fridge last night.
Oh no, that one's
said
that's
that the dog had eaten them.
That's
okay. Those little white lies.
The dog's eating them.
Yeah. I was eating grass in the morning.
We feel the term highly functioning is a contemporary way of saying burning the candle at both ends. It may work for a bit, but it doesn't work long term and you will get burnt. Instead, blow out the flames, reassess, get support. Hey, and maybe next time instead of a candle, get fairy lights. Just because we think fairy lights are cool. They are cool, aren't they, Vic?
Yeah, fairy lights look nice anywhere. They make me happy.
Yeah, me too.
If you're listening to this and you're already sober, then this is your chance to shine. You might know someone that is a highly functional drinker, so you are now able to recognise these traits and help. The first thing you could do is send them this podcast. Then go for a coffee, talk about alcohol. Don't be shy. Tell them about a 30 or 100-day challenge and offer to do it with them. Show them it's okay to be social without alcohol. Sometimes people need a mentor, someone to show them that not drinking is actually a possibility.
Yeah, great.
So get sober, awkward people, have those conversations and make the act of saying no to booze okay. This will stop the functional drinkers in their tracks, make them think and maybe even change, and get the support and have a better life. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. And we've got a quote here, Vic.
Yeah.
I think, haven't we?
Yeah, you go for it, Lucy.
Oh, so, all right, our quote is by Glennon Doyle, and it is, people who need help sometimes look a lot like people who don't need help. Yeah,
yes,
very
that's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
The book of the week this week is Girl Walks Out of a Bar by Lisa A. Smith. I've read this. It is brilliant. This is not an unusual story, but it's one of strength. It tells how Lisa, a New York lawyer, became a high-functioning alcoholic with an emphasis on the high, who fooled not only her colleagues but her family and friends about her reliance on drugs. After 10 years of addiction, mornings began with breakfast, tipples and cocaine. She knew that if she didn't stop, she would soon be dead. So a perfect example of a highly functional drinker in that book that needs to change.
Yes, that's exactly like me.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
You could have read that about me.
Yeah.
Look, and also we just want to mention to download the Hello Sunday Morning app, which is called Daybreak. It's free to all Australians and it's a great tool for helping you understand who you are and where you fit into this big world of sobriety. We promise you will fit in somewhere and it will be as oddly comforting as this podcast is.
Yes, I do find you quite oddly comforting, Lucy.
I don't know why that is.
I
No
don't
one
know.
else does.
No.
I put everybody else on edge.
Should we go off and have a little bit of a cuddle?
You haven't
Come
shat
on.
yourself, have you?
I have a little bit. I got a bit excited.
I might turn it down then.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Sober Awkward podcast.
If alcohol is affecting your life in a negative way, if you're struggling to moderate or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for help. Contact your local doctor, a therapist, or connect with your local AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yes, go onto Facebook and just search Drunk Mummy, Sober Mummy, the group. Lucy and I both agree that even though this journey can be awkward, it's definitely worth it. And if we can do it, you can too.
For more support on sobriety, head to Vic's website, drunkmummysobermummy.com.
And Lucy runs an online space to support and inspire single mums. Find out more at beanstalkmums.com.au. Finally, If you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to follow, subscribe, review, and share it with your mates.
Don't make it sound like they have to, though.
No, they do have to. I'm not doing all this for nothing, Lucy. No.
Hi there. I wanted to tell you about a podcast that I think every single one of you will benefit from. It's called Therapy Works, and it's hosted by me, Julia Samuel. I'm a best-selling author and psychotherapist. I invite you into my therapy room where I speak to either a known or unknown guest. Topics range from the difficulties of divorce, a life-changing illness, to the struggles of motherhood. Search Therapy Works now, wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode.
Vic, so do you fancy coming on a sober holiday?
Don't worry, we're not talking about some corporate wellness retreat with cucumber water and enforced eye contact.
No, this is a sober awkward retreat. 8 days of sun, sweat, laughter, and absolutely no hangovers.
Yep, it's all happening in Thailand next October. Picture this: yoga at sunrise, writing workshops, ice baths, Thai boxing, and lots of awkward sober dancing under the stars.
It's a proper holiday with proper weirdos, our kind of people.
Yeah. You'll meet legends who've also given the booze a boot and want to have fun without feeling like a social reject.
Come solo or grab a mate. Bring your awkward, bring your sun cream. No pressure, no judgment, just a big, warm, sober hug in paradise.
All the info is at soberawkward.com/retreats. Come and get sweaty with us, emotionally and physically, in our all-inclusive jungle resort. You'll start out as 15 strangers and leave with 15 new sober mates.
I'm not sure I want 15 new sober mates, actually, particularly sober ones.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're not invited then.
Take control of the numbers and supercharge your small business with Xero. That's Xero. With our easy-to-use accounting software with automation and reporting features, you'll spend less time on manual tasks and more time understanding how your business is doing. 87% of surveyed U.S. customers agree Xero helps improve financial visibility. Search Xero with an X or visit Xero.com/Acast to start your 30-day free trial. Conditions apply.
Make your list, check it twice, and shop smart this holiday season. Open a Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and add some jingle to your wallet with $150 cash back after your first $1,500 spent within 90 days. Apply at Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Offer ends 12/31/25.
So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad bookstores?
No, it's probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh, yeah, really depressed librarian folk.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From an emotional point of view, seriously, It wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it now.
Go and buy it. Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends, buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy, buy it, yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Buy another one.
Yeah.